On a summer morning in 1969, an editor at the San Francisco Chronicle slit open an envelope with no return address. Inside was a letter written in a careful, deranged hand, and a page of symbols, triangles, circles, letters turned backward. The writer claimed he had already killed, and to prove it he described crime scenes only the murderer could know. Then he made a demand: "Print my code on your front page, or I will go on a killing spree." He signed nothing with a human name. Instead, at the bottom of the page sat a crossed circle, a gun sight drawn over the whole world. Editors across the Bay Area held identical envelopes that morning, each with one slice of a three-part puzzle. The message hidden beneath the symbols, he promised, would reveal who he really was. Newsrooms printed the ciphers, half in fear, half in disbelief, and the most terrifying correspondent in American history had just introduced himself. Within days a schoolteacher and his wife broke the code at their kitchen table. What emerged was not a name, not a motive anyone could hold. It began, "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The killer had promised revelation and delivered only appetite. He would send more letters, more codes, more threats, and one day he would simply stop, taking the name he had chosen and his real face into the dark with him. Months before the ciphers, the horror began in silence. On a cold December night in 1968, two teenagers, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, parked on an isolated stretch of Lake Herman Road outside Vallejo. Someone approached their car in the dark and opened fire, killing them both. There was no note, no symbol, no explanation, only shell casings scattered on the gravel. Investigators had a double murder and almost nothing to connect it to anyone alive. 7 months later, just after midnight on the 4th of July, a young couple sat in a parked car at Blue Rock Springs. Again a stranger walked up, and again the gun spoke in the dark. Darlene Ferrin died. Her companion, Michael Mageau, was gravely wounded but survived. Minutes later a man called the Vallejo police, calmly claiming both this attack and the murders on Lake Herman Road. Then he hung up, leaving detectives staring at a phone gone dead. The caller had a flat, unhurried voice, a man in no rush to escape. He knew details the public did not. But he still had no name, no signature, no myth, just a body count and a habit of watching from the edge of the light. Who was he, and why did a killer who could vanish so easily keep reaching back toward the people hunting him? The answer would arrive by mail, and it would change everything. In August 1969 the letters arrived, and with them the ciphers that would define the case. He split a message of more than 400 symbols across 3 newspapers, warning that if they were not printed he would kill a dozen people over the weekend. The papers complied. He seemed to crave the front page as much as the killing itself, as if the act meant nothing unless a whole city was forced to watch. The hunt was now a performance, and he had cast himself as the star. The 408-symbol cipher did not stay secret for long. A Salinas schoolteacher, Donald Hardin, and his wife Bethy cracked it within a week. The decoded confession was chilling in its emptiness. He killed, he wrote, because it was more fun than hunting animals, and because his victims would become his slaves in an afterlife he imagined. He offered no name, no address, only philosophy. The code that promised to unmask him had unmasked nothing at all. In his next letter he finally gave the world the name it would never forget. "This is the Zodiac speaking," he began, and the title stuck like a brand. He mailed a shorter cipher of just 13 characters, taunting that it hid his true identity. Cryptographers have wrestled with those 13 symbols for half a century. What name did he bury inside them, and why hand the world a lock while keeping the only key? The violence grew theatrical. At Lake Berryessa in September 1969, a man wearing a black executioner's hood approached 2 students picnicking by the water. Stitched across his chest was the same crossed circle symbol from the letters. He bound them and stabbed them both. Brian Hartnell survived, Cecilia Shepard did not. Before leaving, the killer walked to their car and wrote the dates of his crimes on the door in black marker, signing it with his gun sight. He wanted credit, even at the scene. 2 weeks later he changed the pattern entirely. In the quiet, wealthy streets of Presidio Heights, he hailed a taxi driven by Paul Stein, shot him, and tore away a piece of the blood-stained shirt. He would later mail scraps of that shirt to the Chronicle to prove the killing was his. This time there were witnesses, teenagers across the street who watched from a window and called police. For the first time, the Zodiac had left the darkness and killed on a lighted city block. Patrol cars converged within minutes. According to the case file, officers even stopped and questioned someone walking near the scene, then let him continue on, because the earliest description had wrongly said the suspect was black. If that was the Zodiac, he strolled past the police at the closest the manhunt would ever come. He mailed a mocking letter days later, boasting that the police could have caught him. How had a man this reckless never been caught? Now the letters came faster, and the threats grew monstrous. He drew diagrams of a bomb he claimed he would use to blow up a school bus, then pick off the children as they fled. He sent greeting cards, cryptograms, and a piece of Paul Stein's shirt to keep the newsrooms terrified. Parents rode the buses. Police escorted children. An entire region reorganized its daily life around the moods of an anonymous letter writer. In the corner of his letters he kept a grim scoreboard, a running tally of victims that eventually climbed to 37. Yet investigators could firmly link only 5 murders to his hand. Was he inflating the number to magnify his legend, or were there victims in the dark that no one ever connected to the crossed circle? The gap between what he claimed and what could be proven became its own kind of terror. Nobody knew how large the shadow really was. The power he held was mostly the power of suggestion. He rarely needed to kill again, the threat alone kept a city obedient. Newspapers printed what he sent. Detectives chased every postmark. For a man who may have murdered 5 people, he had seized the attention of millions, proof that in the theater he built, fear did the work the knife once had. But a performer needs an audience, and audiences do not wait forever. And then, almost imperceptibly, the Zodiac began to fade. The letters slowed, then grew erratic, and the last one authorities firmly attribute to him arrived in 1974. After that, nothing, no codes, no threats, no crossed circles in the morning mail. A man who had demanded the front page for years simply stopped writing, as though a switch had been thrown. Whether he died, was jailed for something unrelated, or merely lost the urge, no one knows. The silence itself became the final message. Suspicion eventually settled on a Vallejo man named Arthur Lee Allen. He owned the right-size boots, lived near the crimes, and once told an acquaintance he dreamed of hunting people and calling himself Zodiac. Police searched his home and questioned him for years, but the evidence never quite closed. He died in 1992, and later DNA testing on the letters neither confirmed nor cleared him. The best suspect the case ever produced took his innocence or his guilt to the grave. Dozens of other names have been floated over the decades, in books, documentaries, and amateur investigations. Each theory burns bright, then dims for lack of proof. Through it all, the unsolved ciphers sat like sealed vaults, whispering that the answer might already be written down, waiting only for someone clever enough to read it. If the man himself was gone, perhaps his codes could still be made to speak. Half a century later, someone finally forced one of them open. In November 1969 he had mailed one more puzzle, 340 symbols the FBI itself could not crack. It defeated codebreakers for 51 years. Then, In December 2020, 3 men working across 3 countries, an American web developer, an Australian mathematician, and a Belgian programmer, cracked it together on a home computer. After half a century of silence, the Zodiac's own words were about to speak again, and the world leaned in to hear a confession, a clue, a name. The decoded message delivered no name and no remorse. Instead, it mocked the people who had spent decades chasing him. "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me," it read. He wrote that he was not afraid of the gas chamber, because it would send him sooner to the paradise of slaves he believed awaited. Even across 50 years, the voice was the same, gloating, hollow, and utterly unrepentant. The vault had opened onto another empty room. 2 of his ciphers still hold. One, he swore, contains his true name, 13 symbols that no computer, no genius, no obsessive has ever unlocked. He gave the world a name he invented and a symbol he drew, and he made certain the newspapers would never forget them. But the face behind the crossed circle, the ordinary man who mailed those letters and then went home to dinner, was never found. The Zodiac remains exactly what he always wanted to be, a signature without a hand, a name everyone knows and no one can claim.